Leah's Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucker. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking Smack Addict remix. Anyways, you can tell by that thumbnail right there. Yes, indeed, I'm about to write graffiti on the bus. And indubitably, we're going to get to the shit in a menudo style and direct fashion. When I'm talking about things, I'm going to express, I'm expressing a feeling, right? I'm expressing some real expression, a real feeling, and some real words and real talk that's coming out my mouth. And you can tell by that thumbnail right there, we're going to get down to this. And this plays an intricate part into what's going on and a key into my heart because I've had primos that have actually been in the military. So we're talking about gang members in the military, okay? And not necessarily one faction or another, but all group factions. Anybody could sign up, anybody that's deemed worthy, anybody that meets the physical requirements, anyone that meets the mental requirements can enter the United States Armed Forces and defend the country for which we soil in the toil, or toil in the soil, something like that. Either way, I remember when I was 18 years old, freshly getting out of CYA, my primo was going into the military. He actually went into the Navy. In the Navy. Tapotito. Anyways, he went into the Navy. And I remember talking to the recruiters and I was thinking about going into the Marines. Of course, I had a tattoo over my eyebrow. And I had felonies as a minor. So there were some intricacies and some details we would have to pursue to get me to be able to meet the requirements to go in. And I was an active gang member at the time. And I was more concerned with the cause. I was more concerned with pushing the Norteño movement and pushing what I had going on. And especially, I didn't want to go back into a structured environment when I just got out. You know, I just did a little over 6.5 years in CYA, and I wanted to wiggle. I thought the wiggle was going to be real, and I was about to get my issue on. But I seen how easy and how easy it was going to be for an active gang member to go into the armed forces. They were not concerned with that. They were more concerned with being able to cover the minuscule tattoos that I had that were shown, and if I met the physical requirements. Now, of course, I never went that route. I regret it now, you know, thinking maybe that structure or maybe that ability to perform to the best of my abilities would have been good for me. But hey, it's neither here nor there. So I was scared. In retrospect, looking back, it was a train that I missed. So it's all good. I caught the Greyhound. Now look, there's been several active gang members that have been in the military and are currently in the military. You know, whether you want to go into the military and do it for the righteous reasons so that way you can maybe build a career upon getting out of the military, or go defend your country, whatever your reasoning is behind it. I know a lot of people go to the military because they have family members that have participated, and it's generational, just like gangbanging is generational. You have, hey, Sasuke, my jefito, he was a general. Sasuke in that fashion. So what are you going to be, a corporal, right? You're just going to get your issue on. But some people are, you know, they want to be involved because it's a tradition. It's a family tradition. I wanted to pinpoint a couple individuals here. One individual was Andreas Raya, right? Who was 19 years old at the time of his demise. This man actually went into the military. He's from a little town in the 209 area located right outside of Modesto called Ceres, California. Now, for those of you that don't know Ceres, I have familia that stays in Ceres, Turlock, Modesto, right here, and they wiggle. Okay, the wigglization is real. Sermas Park, stand up. The 209 district, don't get it twisted. The Norte has always been prevalent in this area and has always been a real, a real factor. You know, they're not actors out there. They're factors in the Valle. 209 shit. But I will say this. This guy had a history of just hanging out with the homeboys. Wasn't necessarily a hardcore gang member, but did participate as far as kicking it with the homeboys, relaxing. He was merely an associate, okay, from the barrio, but associating at a high level. Okay, now not everybody is involved in the structure and the politics into the Norte or the Sur or whatever case that may be. But at the same time, there are a lot of hang-arounds, associates, and people that kick back. You know, they're from the barrio, but they're not really actively participating in some of the functions that can entail jail time and things of that nature. They're just kind of kicking back, sipping 40 ounces, and everything's going, see, all right, Custer, right? They're kicking back. And this was one of those individuals. He was a young kid. His eyes were not yet open to what, you know, gang life really entails. He kind of was just on the outside looking in, yay, in the back burner, posted up like a thumbtack. But at the same time, he aspired to go to the military. You know, he aspired to go to the military and possibly change his life or just get the hell out of Ceres, which is a small town with nothing but 3 taco trucks and a Kentucky Fried Chicken right across from the movie, the fucking drive-in. So there wasn't really too much going on off the Highway 99, and he wanted to go see the world and go to a bigger, broader, you know, have a bigger, broader experience. So that's where he turned to the military. Of course, he went into the recruiting office. They recruited him, and he did go into the military. Now, some things that he possibly seen in the military could have inflicted this post-traumatic stress syndrome is what they're blaming this case on. It doesn't matter. The whole gist of this whole content video is that active gang members are, yes, in the military. Banging Norte, banging Sur. ¿Sabes qué? I heard that my primo said that before he turned Jotito, that he actually went on the fucking boat, the ship, or whatever you might want to call it. And there was a lot of vatos from LA that were claiming Sur. He said he met a couple of vatos from 18, as well as a vato from Florencia. Now, it's a trip that the gangbanging would be real. You would think vatos would let that go. They would put that to the past. But when it's in your heart, it's indoctrinated into your mind. It's instilled into your every being, into your corazon. You're going to keep continuing to be from that vato. That ain't going to change. Sasuke, where you at? I'm in Iraq. But I'm really from 18. Orale. And in that fashion, young dopey, mandatory. And so you know what it is. These people, you could take them out the hood, but you can't take the hood out them. Just the way it is. But yeah, there are a lot of active gang members in the military. Now, I have heard from some individuals. I had a homeboy that did a lot of time as an active gang member in the military. He went to Iraq. He did a couple tours. He was actually involved in bringing down Saddam Hussein's son, Sasuke. He was on the frontline status, of course, because he was a Marine. And getting to sit down with him when he came back, God bless him, thank God that he came back, and kick him back in his garage and posted up like a thumbtack and just chilling. He told me a lot of stories how at one point in time he did get into it with the Sureño. It was just a lightweight argument, a conversation, and I started over a Laker game, a Laker Kings game, and escalated into a fist fight and got gang related quick. Now, of course, that's kitty style. That's really not a big deal. But you can see how when there's guns involved, there's a structured environment involved, it can escalate. And that's just a point to make that there are active gang members. Anyways, getting back to Andreas and Raya, this kid goes to the military and comes out, and along the line, something happened. Something happened that triggered some endorphins or something. I think that's what they call endorphins. Something triggered in his brain, in his mind, to basically set him off. Okay, so it goes that I think it was a January, or was it February 12th? I think it was January 12th. What year was it? 2012 or 2015? This individual actually went to a convenience store, walked into the convenience store with a rifle and started J-catting out, right? What he was trying to do was murder by police, okay? He was trying to instigate some type of incident so that they would come and a confrontation would ensue. And this is exactly what happened. Him walking into this little store, this corner store on Ceres, he started catting out and the people got concerned, and so they called the authorities. The authorities came, surrounded the place. There was a standoff, and this kid came out bucking. This kid came out bucking at the officers, and, people were injured. And, of course, he succumbed to his wounds. He was injured. Now, this was all brought upon himself, but at the same time, this was part of being in the military. Now, I know it was a big case. People were talking about it. The Andy Raya, and that's him right there on the thumbnail. And people trip because, he was an active member of the military at the time of his demise, or excuse me, he had just came back, from being stationed in his post and all that. Whatever it goes, I don't know. I watch Full Metal Jacket. What the? This is my rifle. This is my gun. This is for fighting. This is for fun. I know all that shit. Orale. Eat your jelly donut. But trip out. So the vato gets into with the placas. Now, of course, they look back, brain scans, y todo mine. I'm trying to figure out what led up into the situation. And what really led up into it was post-traumatic stress syndrome. A lot of people suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome that come back from the military because they've seen some shit that we ain't seen. They've seen some crazy stuff. They've been in incidences or been involved in. And a lot of people, it's not necessarily they've seen things, but things have happened to them. There's hazing going on in the military and all kinds of different things that can play into it. If you're not up to par, man, and you're just on the outside looking in, Sasuke, you will be ridiculed and bullied into a certain point, where you can't take it no more. I don't know why, baby. I can't take it no more. That's a remix. Orale, you don't know what song that is. Anyways, so vatos, tend to kind of cat out, J-cat out, 5150. A lot of them need medication when they come back from the military. And there's really not too much assistance and too much help. There are some guys that actually can go to certain places or call certain numbers and get some help. But a lot of these guys got pride and they think nothing's wrong with them. So I was getting the inside, it's like, fuck, I don't feel good. But on the outside, it's like, what ya, homie? I was a fucking Sergeant Lance, whoop-de-whoop. And it's all good. Not to discredit or make fun of the military at all, but I'm saying a lot of these individuals come back and they have no one to run to and nowhere to hide. And it's just a sad, unfortunate, existence and game. But that's just part of life. But as far as active gang members in the military, there are several. And what tripped me out about the story about Andy Raya is that when he did this incident, when this incident unfolded, man, when he got into the shootout with the placas, in the 209, it was a big deal. Everybody was hearing about it. I remember, Sasuke, fuck, damn, what the damn for the cop. You know what I mean? Immediately, they started to look into his background. Instead of focusing on what was wrong with him and the traumatic, stress syndrome that he had and the things that he went through, they immediately looked back at old high school pictures. Oh, Sasuke, he's wearing a red paño. He must be a norteño. And they started to blame it on the northern cause. Now that's a fact. But here's a fact that is really a fact, right? Fact remains that the Norte had nothing to do with that. He wasn't doing it because he was an active gang member. He didn't do it at the discretion of another gang. He didn't do it for the Norte. This had nothing to do with the Norteño cause at all. He took it upon himself to cat out, man, and to do what he did. Okay, but of course, automatically administration, authorities, people of that nature decide that if for no other reason, if a gang member does something, it's a gang enhancement. Sasuke, he did it at the benefit of the gang or the organization. Chale, it doesn't always be like that, okay? And for the most part, 99.9% of the time, it isn't. Sasuke, if a Wata goes in there and steals a payday and a Slurpee at 7-Eleven, hey, my friend, do not put Slurpee in Big Go. If a Wata goes and does his thing, is it because the Norteños told him to do it? Chale, homie. I mean, we might help him eat it, but Sasuke, orale, I like Slurpees. But it's not, at the discretion of the gang, man. It's that everyone has their own way of thinking. Everyone's their own man. Everyone can participate and do what they do, how they do it. And a lot of these guys, like I say, coming out of the military are all fucked up in the head, right? And not everybody, not everybody. Some people, man, they get good jobs. They learned responsibility, a structured environment, authority figures, and they do great in life. But there are some, like this young kid, and he was young, only 19 years old, that couldn't take the heat, so he got out the kitchen, right? And he chose to do this. Now, I'm not here to disrespect that man whatsoever, because I don't know how his mind was playing tricks on him. So I was getting Bushwick. But at the same time, it was unfortunate this happened, and it was really an unfortunate incident that they tried to blame it on him being a gang member. Okay, whether he was with the activities or not at this particular time holds no bearing to this case. Sasuke, they try to say he was letting people know that he was going to cat out. It was basically a cry for help. He was letting people know, hey, I'm going to go do something so they could stop him. See, that's what most people do. Like a vato that's at a party and he shows a cuete, it's not because he wants to use it, because he wants someone to say, hey, you, get out that cuete, right? Give him the cuete so they can go put it in the carro, because Sasuke baboso, you might shoot your toe off. It's not because they want to use it. And anyone that's been in the game, that's been around, knows that the quietest vato in the camp, the one that's in the corner, Sasuke, he's probably the one that's going to book you. It's not the ones that are out there flamboyant, showing off every cuete that they have, or that's fucking a BB gun. You feel me? Bang, bang. So in a menudo style, looking back and doing my proper investigation, this is only one of many cases. There are a lot of active gang members in the military. But that doesn't mean that the gangs are playing a big part over there. That just means vatos that are from the barrios, for one reason or another, got out of the barrio. Now I'm going to tell you another story about a homeboy of mine from my neighborhood. I don't know how it is, and I don't know how this came about, Sasuke, because I wasn't in the courtroom that day. But I know that he got caught up for, I think it was a dope case or something of that nature. It was some type of case, and all of a sudden the vato disappeared. I was like, damn, where is the vato, right? What had happened was the judge decided that for no other reason, because he was young, he gave him an option. It was either become incarcerated or go to the military, for which, of course, Sasuke, send me to Iraq, I thought in that fashion. So he went over there to Iraq, not South Sac, Iraq, where it really goes down, but Iraq, and got structured up, meaning he found authority figures. He identified with army, and it was the best thing in his life for him. And yes, he was an active gang member, and of course, he left in righteous standings to the military, man. Homeboys wrote him. Sasuke, he got pictures and letters. His wife was positioned right there in the town. Everyone was looking out the best way they could. Bang, bang. And it was all good in the hood. He came back and he got right into the wigglization and everything was real. And everybody automatically assumed and already knew, man, this vato was in the military. He's a little bit different now. Yeah, he was still a righteous homeboy, but Sasuke at the same time, no one ever invited him to participate in the reindeer games because we knew his life was on a different track. Okay? And he was an active gang member, and he told me stories about several sureños that he ran into, several norteños from Gilas, from Sanjo, from Salas, from fucking Tulare County. And I was like, damn, you guys were doing it like that? He goes, yeah, we actually had a little crew of all norteños and sureños that posted up together. So I was like, we're the Chicanos in the military. We stood on the front lines up to we were about that action. So I was like, pedazos and fucking cuetes on my eye, right? I was like, damn. And it was just a trip. And I was like, if there could be some type of unity in the military, because you got to understand, these guys are fighting for their lives out there. They're there to defend us, the country, the taxpayers, the people. But at the same time, they're just trying to live another day. You feel me? And I understand that. But all coming from that gang mentality, whether it be North or South, or even Crips and Bloods, you got Africanos, whites, Woods in there like, hey, oh, brother. They're in there. The wood piles in there, most definitely the wood piles in there. And then, of course, you got every other state, every other whatever, and different gangs, homegrown gangs from there, different organizations. But speaking in a California fashion, and for norteños and sureños, Crips and Bloods, to actually be intermingling and kicking back is a good thing. That was the end of hostilities before the end of hostilities. And it was because they were all had common beliefs. They all come from barrios, from neighborhoods, and could sit down and identify because I was gay, no fucking wato with the fucking towel on his head identifying with that. You know what I mean? He's identifying with the AK at your door, no beef no more, or a grenade. IUD shit, right? Is that an IUD or IUD? The one that goes put in there. You know, I've been doing my thing. Anyways, so with that being said, yes, there are a bunch of active gang members in the military, but I don't think that holds a bearing into what they're doing. Just because you're from a gang doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you were caught up in a situation or you're a product of your environment. I know a lot of good gang members, man, people that actually are from a barrio, from a hood, representing, man, but they got good jales. You know, they work for the State Department. They work for fucking the schools. They work for a lot of different places. That's what they do on the weekends is their business. Weekend warrior at the Scantoso time, right? Whatever they do. It doesn't mean that they're horrible, despicable people. What it means at the end of the day is just they're products of their environment and they're from their barrio and they're proud of the barrio they're raised from. Now, you're saying being from a barrio and being a gang member is two different things. And it could be. It could be. You could grow up in the barrio. I got a primo that grew up in the barrio. He's a doctor now. You know, and he gets love and respect from all the different gangs and the gang members because they know his name is Bennett and he's really not in it. But at the same time, he grew up on the same streets. He toiled in that same soil. His toes were in that same concrete. He got bit by the same fucking pit bull I did. Arr, right? Bulldogs, right? Doing their thing. So they got love for him. But they know, man, when push comes to shove and when time starts, he's going in the house and shutting the door because he ain't trying to get involved in that shit. So he likes his head where it's at. I do too, but my participation was just a little bit deeper and a little bit more realer. But as far as taking it back to the military, it's unfortunate what happens to individuals like Andreas Raya. And I think more went into it, not necessarily gang related. He just happened to be an associate or a gang member that went to the military, for which I tell you there are several. But I think it had more to do with an incident that occurred while he was there and something that just wasn't right. And he came back and his screws were loose. So instead of going to a doctor and getting them tightened up, they fell out and it ended up how it ended up. You know, of course, the placas, you know, it wasn't a good thing. Google it. You know, Andreas Raya from Ceres, California. And you'll see. You know, I don't want to disrespect his family. I don't want to disrespect him. I will say rest in peace. Condolences to the familia. I know they're probably still going through it. That is a pain that goes on forever, you know. Anyways. At the end of the day, I hope that you go out there and you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, man, don't go on other people's perceptions. Don't go on other people's opinions. Judge and formulate your own opinion by yourself. You know, a lot of people are going to say, hey, those are gangbanging in the military. They're about that action. Charlie, man, you just got a whole bunch of people from barrios and from gangs that actually went to the military to better themselves or just get to go get a paycheck. Either way, the winner is. Straight up. And people that get out, man, if you see someone that was actively in the military and they get out, a vet, man, hey, pay it forward. Show them respect. Show them love, man. Extend your hand because they fought for your freedom, man. So now it's time for us to stand up as a people and fight for theirs. It is what it is. Anyways, go out there and get your issue, man. If you like this, please hit that like and subscribe. Gunners Collective, you know what it is. If you don't, you can hit that thumbs down. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to bring you the best content I possibly can right here on YouTube. First and foremost, frontline status, you know what it is. I'm the gun. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Bang, bang, and in that fashion. You know what it is, man. Rest in peace to Andreas Raya. I said it 3 times. 3 strikes. I'm out. Bang, bang.